Hello viewers, welcome to Sense 360 Investor Channel, where we apply best practices from the companies we invest in around the globe and apply those to the investing process. And within the 360 framework, today's video is going to focus on in the area of markets. And this is our agenda in this video. Before we begin, a quick word about the disclaimer. Please read, pause, read, and continue. Okay, so without much further ado, let's start the show. And here's the long-term view of the S&P that we've been looking at. We're still locked into this downtrend. However, we have started to maybe build out this channel. So we'll, if it hits resistance up here and then starts to work its way back down to support, we'll be able to see this channel building out. So that's one potential scenario. Another scenario is that we take out this high over here at 4,300 and work higher. On the daily view, we can see a little bit more granularity, average moving down, and we hit that based on the Powell speech the other day on this interview, and we're just hanging around there. And this is kind of a pause to figure out if we're going to come back in or continue moving up. So it's kind of taking its breath. And then on the hourly chart, you can see clearly what a moonshot that day was when Fed Chair Powell spoke. And then we have a next day kind of came down, formed this bear flag, gap down, which was followed by a bounce. Not unusual pattern on gap downs. And then if we look at the 25-day and 5-day view in terms of kind of breadth, then we can see that on the sell side of the past 25 days, 3 notable days of selling, 1 in the past 5. On the accumulation buy side, we also have 3 on the over 25 and 1 on the past 5. And you can see the one of the past 5 is very clear. The day Chair Powell spoke. And then overall of the past 25 days, we had 5 days of notable up days, 1 down day on heavier volume. And so this picture has drastically improved since 4 weeks ago. Okay, then in terms of, let's have a look at Treasuries. So the 10-year yield has been coming down, and that's inversely correlated to what the S&P is doing. And the TLT, as noted down here, capitulation selling was identified and mentioned in a former video. And since then, we've worked our way through that, and potentially we'll find a resistance point up here around the 112, 113 zone. Also, this week I put the junk bond on here, and we can see, because this is a good indication of risk on, risk off. We're still locked in a downtrend, and until we kind of take this high out and start to establish a uptrend, then we'll be into good old risk on again. So we can see that between the 2 years and the 10-year Treasuries, we still have the inversion in place, and until that gets resolved, we can't be too excited. And the S&P earnings yield dropped a minor amount down to 4.72 from last week's value. And here we have the markets in general. So the green line is the 10-year. This violet line is the 30-year. Both have been coming in. The blue line is the dollar, and we can see how the dollar has really come back in, which will help, because a weak dollar helps some of the bigger organizations that are multinationals, internationals, global firms. And then here we can see the S&P market moving up. And in previous videos, I noted at the divergence between what the S&P was doing and the yields. So that kind of telegraphed it. Okay, if we look at the another sentimental indicator, so this shows us that there's a lot more call buying going on at the moment than protection or put buying, and so that correlates with the up move. And then if we look at the fear index, so the fear index is interesting because in previous areas where it's come into the 20s, so it's come into the 20s and stabilized for a few days, come into the 20s, stabilized, and then moved up, stabilized, moved up. And here it's come in, but it hasn't stabilized yet. So we'll see if this continues down, which will give us the indication the markets will move up. But if it starts to stabilize, then that could be an indication that markets are gonna meet resistance and that resistance will get defended. Okay, so the AA, another sentiment indicator to watch. So effectively, the best way to read this is once this needle comes into the green greedy side, you should be looking to take some profits off the table, and then once it swings over to this side, you should be looking to increase exposure. Because typically the markets are oversold, so this is a contrarian indicator. And then in terms of our earnings watch for the week, not much going on really because we're outside of the earnings season, but we do have one AutoZone, which is predicted to mildly beat. Economic calendar, so things to watch for because this can create market moving news. Factory orders on Monday, jobless claims on Thursday, and the one that everybody's going to be watching is on Friday, PPI, which tracks CPI closely. If this moves up, it indicates that the inflation is still kind of moving up or hot, and so therefore equities will move down. If this prints a lower number, then that's good for equities. Okay, so one stock idea for the week. This week it's T-Mobile, and this is in the communication services sector industry. So we can see it's actually made a nice little consolidation pattern up here on a firm uptrend, and here's done a nice little consolidation. So a good breakout on this could set this up for a continued move. So I've added TMUS, and then next week I will see where Raymond James finished up in our 4-week window. That's not indicative. 4 weeks is not indicative of a trading strategy or anything. I just want to kind of cut them off at 4 weeks and say, okay, how did they do over 1 month, and leave it at that. Sometimes if the market goes south, then I may just mark an earlier exit, and then I'll put the gain loss in the sell here. So one for you to research. Okay, so that was the markets update for December 5th weekend. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and click that like button. Share with this with your family and friends. That will help to get more eyes and ears on these videos. And if you have any thoughts or comments, remarks, please leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.